What's up, guys? Well, we have a project that is kind of sneaking up on us. I don't know if that's the right term, really, because it's not like we haven't been aware of it. This whole boat has got major issues with the vinyl on the walls. And this has obviously been a thing that's been an issue for a while because somebody in the past has recovered some of the walls with a different kind of vinyl. In my opinion, not a good kind. It's sort of like perforated. It's not very attractive. And the problem is that typical spray adhesives, which are commonly used, actually will eat the foam backing on some of the foam backed vinyl. And that's what's happened in River's room, where this new vinyl has been added. Has just given up. But whatever, this attempt to redo it did not work. And the problem is, anywhere where it's coming down, this stuff, this foam, it's completely falling apart because whatever the adhesive was just killed it. It was just this piece, so I had been, even though I knew it was already a lost cause, I've been hitting it with a couple different kinds of spray adhesives just to keep it up for a while, knowing that we would eventually be doing a lot of this vinyl. And then this other piece next to it decided to start coming down. We've been leaning one of River's giant stuffed bears up against it. It's been his job to hold the vinyl up on the wall. And there's only so much bear can do. For the meantime, I'm gonna pull this down, and I guess, man, it's kind of late in the day, but this really just sort of happened. We're gonna remove, I don't know how, wire brush or sand. In the meantime, I'm going to continue pulling down this sucker and just kind of see what we got. Good stuff. Yeah. Oh, yeah, baby.
This is super exciting. You know why it's super exciting?
No, why?
Because that was the one that I sprayed the stuff in it.
Oh, so we're going to see if it
yeah, we'll see if it works. If it defrosts faster.
Okay, that's good.
The ice is supposed to slip off.
Correct.
In there. Alright, well, it is, what time is it? 11:31 right now. Just see how long this takes. Does it smell like food, Zeke? Alright, we got everything defrosted, so I'm gonna try something new. We'll see if this works. We bought this Pam type spray at Kmart, and it's really bad. So we've just been sitting around, but I saw a trick on, I think, the boat galley where they spray this on the cooling plate, and then when the ice forms, it doesn't stick to the cooling plate, so then it's easier to defrost because it just kind of like slips off. So let's try it, see what happens. Okay, we'll see. Smells delicious. Well, I used it all, so that's good. Now we just have to wait another like 6 months until we defrost this thing again.
What's up, all? We realized we did not show you the gripping conclusion of defrosting the refrigerator and the freezer. We defrosted both. Got them looking good. It didn't take very long, and like I said, we haven't had to do it that often. They both just got a little bit of frost back on them because it's been a few days. But I think both of them each only took maybe a couple hours. The fridge took just a little longer because we kind of let the ice build up too much this time, and it took it a while to sort of melt off the top. But it's not hard. You throw all your food in the cold bags with a couple ice packs, and everything comes out absolutely fine, and all your stuff runs far more efficiently when it is not covered in ice. Lauren's experiment with the spray pan, I think, is inconclusive, and the reason is we let this build up way too much, and there's no way around doing an actual defrost. I think the idea for that is you're supposed to spray it on and then when you just get a little bit of buildup, you should be able to just knock it off. When it gets as bad as it was before, there's just no way. So we'll try that again. We didn't do it this time around, but next time we defrost, we'll try to remember to spray them and see if we can remember to be responsible refrigerator owners and check the defrost level a little sooner. We'll see. It would be a weird thing to say it has begun, but in a way, it kind of has, because we got our first item, yeah, I would say our first item shipped today. That is officially part of our electric upgrade and install. So that's kind of a big deal. And it's going to be a big part of our solar install, because that's coming first of everything. We have two Victron Smart Solar 150/45 MPPTs. And I chose these, if you look at our list on SailAwayVlog.com and go to the electric sailing page, you see the list of all the stuff that we are putting together. The reason I chose these for our MPPTs, we needed to have something that would work in the interim with our 12-volt house system, and also with our 48-volt system once we have made the new bank. Because then all of our charging, all of our sources, including the solar and the generator both, shore power on the occasion that we do that, which is not often, all that charging will go straight to the new 48-volt bank, which will then charge our house bank with a DC to DC converter. So I needed to find MPPTs that would sort of bridge the gap and do both, because charging a 48-volt bank is a little more complicated because you have to send it enough volts to actually charge it. So not only do you need an MPPT that'll do that, but you need your solar to be kicking out almost 60 volts nominal in order to charge your batteries. So that means we've got, basically on the back, we're going to have two banks of solar run in series, 2 panels each, and eventually up here we'll have 2 more banks of 3 panels each, and each of those banks needs to be able to kick out about 60 volts max. We needed an MPPT that will do that at high amperage, as much charge as we can get out of it, but also work for a 12-volt system as well without spending a crazy amount of money. It was a hard balance to strike. But I think these will do the job. These will give us a really good rated charge on our 12-volt bank for now, which is going to be a huge upgrade. And we're talking doubling, maybe tripling the amount of watts in solar that we're getting right now. So I can't wait to get started on this and get our new panels. And long-winded version, you're welcome, Lauren. This is our first little piece of the puzzle. And sometime here in the next few days, we're going to start amassing a few more. Also, I find this package pretty exciting because this is our brand new jib sheets. And as you can see, our old ones are pretty tired, and this is the good part. If you go up to the front, they are very, very worn up front, where they cross over the inner forestay to the point where I wouldn't actually want to sail with them at all anymore. So we got some new line on eBay. I'll unpack it and see how it looks. Hopefully it's good. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that. Some nice looking stuff. Alright, well, I know what I'm doing for the next 15-20 minutes. This is an insanely stiff rope. What we expected.
It'll loosen up. Maybe.
Maybe.
New jib sheets.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know you just see sunshine, blue skies, and lovely weather, and it is. God, it's fucking hot. And actually, we were looking at the weather the last week or so. It's hot, but it's not like that unusually hot. I don't know if we've just become more precious lately, but we're all just kind of dying from the heat lately. I think it might just be, I don't know, the wind has not been very strong lately, and it's been kind of a long stretch of heat. It just doesn't change. It's like around 86 degrees, and even at night it's about 86 degrees. And I am in the process of trying to get our air conditioners working. We have 2 air conditioning units, one on each side of the boat. Don't have one up in the middle. There's just one in each hull, and they're each 16.5 thousand BTUs. We haven't used them much. There are vents that come out right here on both sides and that point up this way. And then there's a vent in each aft stateroom and a vent in each forward stateroom. When we first got the boat, we did use the port side one pretty often down in Grenada because it was just so freaking hot. And it did a surprisingly decent job of just taking the edge off of the heat, at least in the evening up here in the cabin. Just with one side and with just these vents that head up into our living room there. The starboard side one had a bad pump. We had our tech down in Grenada, Tevin, come take a look at it. At the same time he was trying to fix our fridge and everything. And he told me the pump was bad. So we just didn't do anything about it because the pumps he had were exorbitantly expensive. We decided that was just not a priority. We did eventually get another pump. Thank you, Doug Labout. And I installed it months ago, but we've just never gotten around to getting these units working again. And the starboard one, we only ran it enough to see that it really wasn't functioning. You know, it turned on. Then at some point I figured out that the controller, the actual thermostat on the wall on that side, had gone bad. The other day I got all the lines cleaned out. I got the through hull flowing well. And that was really the only thing on the port side. Cleaned out all the dust off of the side of the intake and just kind of checked out everything, and it fired right up. It was nice and cool. So that was cool, literally. So then I went to the starboard side and brought this controller over there with me, and everything over there fired up surprisingly quick. Again, I had to clean out the through hull and make sure the system was flowing with water. They both pump a ton of water through, so that part works great. That side ran for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before the compressor would shut off. And there's a high pressure switch down there that'll kick off if the compressor is working too hard, it's too hot. And that's almost always just because not enough water flow is getting in there to cool it. Well, we had tons of water flowing out of the outlet, and that one was cooling pretty well too, but it needs a little bit of charge, which can contribute to the compressor working too hard. And today, before we call somebody to come and kind of top that charge up to see if that helps, I'm putting some barnacle buster in both of these because they've both sat for 2 years. I mean, I don't know if we used them last year at all. If you haven't used this stuff before, we used it on Cecilia when we first were getting her AC units working right. And it just does a great job of cleaning all the gunk out of there. And even though we've got good water flow, all the fins on the inside of the cooling element might just be dirty and nasty and just aren't letting the cooling water actually make contact. This was about $35 for one of these here in St. Martin. So you basically just dilute it in a bucket 4-to-1 and then suck it into the system, turn it off, and let it sit. Alright, as you can maybe see here, I've already got my hose attached to draw in the barnacle buster. But I put a brand new strainer in when I installed this pump, and all new hoses and everything, and so everything is in pretty good shape. We just got to keep this thing running for longer than 10 minutes at a time. Just running a hose straight to the inlet side of the pump. With the way our unit is set up, the outlet on the side of the hull is above this unit, so we won't even need to close that. Just by gravity, it will stay inside this. We just need to keep this above the level so all the water doesn't back out of there. So we'll suck it up and then we'll let it soak for a few hours. Maybe, just maybe, that'll be enough to clean this thing and keep it cool, and it'll stay running. I went ahead and just used the whole bottle on this side just to be sure it was getting the right treatment. So we'll leave it like that for a couple hours, and we'll flush some fresh water through it and then hook everything back up, fire it up, see what happens. Sitting in the hall with my hose in my hand, I'm a one-ball man and I'm off to the rodeo.
Is that all you wanted?
Yeah.
Just for that?
I'm gonna rinse this thing out now. I've got a bucket of fresh water. Stick my thumb over it. We'll flip this on. Now I just got to reattach everything, and we'll fire it up for a little bit, see if it maybe stays on. If I had hair, it would be blowing dramatically backward right now.
Seriously, Lol, if you could feel it through the camera, you would be just laying on your back. It feels so nice.
You got the coolest room for sure.
And with the fan.
Yeah, the fan. You got some rough looking walls right now, but we'll get that fixed pretty soon. At least it's cool.
Right here, right here, right here.
It feels fabulous. We've had 2 kind of bad nights of sleep because of the heat. So to sum up, the AC is working quite well. Barnacle Buster, folks, does the trick, at least so far. We've had it running for a couple hours, so now we just need to not burn $100 worth of diesel every month just to run the air conditioner.
Feels so nice.
This just means I have to wait until everybody's very asleep before I turn it off in the middle of the night. Good night, everybody.
So you've seen that River's room is torn apart. All the vinyl is down on one of the walls, and we talked about painting it. We've talked about a bunch of different things at this point of how we can redo that room. So we talked about painting it, we talked about just putting up new fabric, we've even talked about like doing PVC walling. Eric is a little worried about painting just because of the vinyl backing that was on the fabric covering before, and there's probably no way for us to get every single little bit of that vinyl off the walls. So I've decided that we are going to experiment, but we're going to experiment someplace where nobody can see it. So we're in a hobbit hole, which you can see that all the vinyl's already off these walls. I'm just going to start painting it. We'll see what happens. If it really looks as bad as Eric thinks it might, also because it is just not really a flat surface. We've got paint left over from our project with the doors, so we've got primer and paint. So we're just gonna see what happens. It's a boat, it's an experiment. We'll see how it dries. It's not the best. I mean, it looks okay from far away, so maybe it'll dry better. Okay, well, I think the Hobbit hole painting experiment looks better than we expected, but I don't think it's what we want. So we have these lovely SailRite samples from 1,000,000 years ago. That let's
well,
see
it's
what they
definitely
do.
not these though. Yeah, I think the paint looks cool in the Hobbit hole because it's the Hobbit hole. It's like our utility room, and it's sort of in a way, for some reason, like on a bedroom wall, it's just a little too unfinished looking with all the texture under the paint. But yeah, we got a few of these, and I kind of like the ones that have a little bit of color and pattern to them. Get something like that because
Flatten out.
yeah,
Hopefully, whatever's
there's
underneath.
a big ridge in that fiberglass right there, and yet it's just like the very lightest of shadows with that because there's so much texture and color variation.
Yeah, so we still have not accomplished what we needed to accomplish, but we are closer to accomplishing what we needed to. And eventually his room will not look like this. All right, well, boo, but yay.
What?
Boo, but yay. So we're not done. But yay.
That's not what I heard.
What did you?
Boob something.
Boob and
Boobs, yay!
All right. Yeah, that's what's up. Constant work. Oh, well, it's life.